Hello, I'm Jan Bloemink. This video is about to find overwritten resource item PowerShell report. You can find this on my GitHub. I'm going to show you all new functionality. Today there are two reports, one simple and the old find overwritten resource items. The simple find overwrite resource item uses an out-of-the-box Sitecore API call. It is fast and reliable, but lesser advanced because you cannot select which file you want to check. I'm running the new simple report on the master database. It looks similar to the advanced report. You have also most of all ribbon buttons. The first are the standard buttons. Every report has out of the box. You can save to Excel or even burn to CD. Let's try. Okay, this must be a joke. Burn to CD. If your computer still has a CD burner, it's probably time to upgrade. This button is there for many years. Someone need to create a ticket at support that it is not working. Actually, it's part of the PowerShell trainings examples. Okay, let's look at the actions specified for this report. Compare item is very powerful, but also technical. It shows every difference, also the revision. The report shows overwritten resource items. A resource item is coming from a file. Resource items are handy for Sitecore updates. Just update a file instead of a database record. But also handy for modules and also for your own releases. Basically, you can release your items with serialization to the database or create a resource file. When you create a resource file, it's very handy to know which items are overwritten because the behavior is different between content serialization and the resource file when you do a release. With content serialization, you can do an override when you release with a resource file that ends with an overwritten item and it has a database version. The item will not change when you release, so therefore you need to know which items are overwritten so you can delete the database version. Therefore, to compare database item with EIR file is very handy to have. Then you know which changes there are done and if it is safe to restore. Deleting the database version is normally the best to do with delete including childs. So that is using the API normal delete item API. It is safe. But if you want to delete not the children, or perhaps better call it restore the children from the resource file, or when you cannot use the delete because it is a template that is in use, you can use the SQL delete. That will do the job, but in the background, be aware, webhooks are not sent and also caches may be incorrect. I tried to flush the caches, but yeah, there are a lot of caches. Well, the package all items can be very handy if you want to backup before you delete something, or to export to another environment if you want to check if a bug is related to an overwritten item. But it is a technical thing. Be aware of the merge option when you install a package. The opening content editor is, just open it in the content editor. But be aware it's not using the language. So it's content report. And you have to refresh. The refresh is basically refreshing the report. I can try that. For example, this black. I do and delete in the content editor, and then it will restore. So now it is restored. When I go back to the report and I do a refresh, this status should be updated. Up. Find all files for an item. More technical, a resource item can be in multiple files. Version data can be stored in multiple files, language data. So with this button, you can find out in which file the item is stored. So this file is only in the master SPA data, but for example, let's try this one. This is stored in multiple files. And now the advanced report. Beside the database, you can now also choose which file you want to check, and if you want all items in the resource file or just only the overwritten items. I choose now one of my custom files. And as you can see, there is a clear orphan message in this report. It means the parent doesn't exit. So the only thing I have is the parent ID. All right, I know this item should be below the home, and I also know that it is currently in the recycle bin. So, well, first, so you see there's now nothing's below the home. I will restore this test map. So the test map is restored, and also these ERR items are now visible. As you can see, this one is coming from a resource. This message is also from this project, but I now want to show the report. So let's run the report again. Next. I choose again my custom file, and I choose one Japanese language file. As you can see, the orphan items are message is now gone, and just the normal path is shown. There are a few buttons, a few new buttons in the report. One is the compare item against selected file, and you have also the view ERR item fields. So let's take this Japanese file. I can do a compare item. That basically compares the item and use all resource files that contain this item. But I can also say, hey, just take my file and compare that with the current version. In this case, this is a database version because it's an overwritten item. And then you will see most ERR fields are empty. It takes some time. This should normally be faster. All right, it's there. So most URL fields are now empty because it's only take this field from the URL file, and yeah, I can see here it's my change. You can also use the few URL fields if used on the same field with only Japanese language data. Here you can see what's in the URL file. For example, this one has two language versions in one file. I can also show that with the viewer, and then you can see the Dutch language and English language and which fields there are. That's basically the override resource item report. I hope it is useful for you, and if you have any feedback, let me know.